Hey, so 18.3 is done. How did you do? Well, if you're like me, your calves are very sore from the workout. So before we get started in showing you how to work on reducing the soreness in your calves, let's talk to the people who say, I don't need to worry about that. I'm not a top athlete. I'll just deal with it and move on with my day. Well, first of all, the higher position athletes always work on recovery. It's often said there's no such thing as overtraining. There is under recovery. So the first thing you need to realize is if your legs are sore or if your calves are sore, you're going to alter the biomechanics of your lifting and your exercising for the week. That's a problem. And it's not just for the top athletes. That's a problem for the everyday athlete. Because if your calves are sore and you're changing the mechanics of your clean, of your snatch, because you're not able to properly dorsiflex and get down to a proper squat position, you're making yourself susceptible for injury risk. More often than not, an injury will occur as a result of overtraining or under recovery, and you're altering your movement patterns, whether it's compensatory or just you're actually doing it on purpose. And that's where you lead to problems. And that's where I end up seeing a lot of patients. You often talk to people about when they're injured, and it is often after a hard session, not the hard session, but the following session, when their concentration is down and maybe their mechanics are wrong. So if anything, even if you're not a fire breather who's trying to make it to the next stage in the regionals, if anything, do the work we're going to show you so the mechanics are properly so that you could do your proper workouts this week. The second reason is soreness will decrease performance. If your calves and legs are sore from the workouts that you just performed, you could say to yourself, yeah, sure, I'll let it go. And by Thursday, Friday, when the next open workout is there, my legs will feel fine. Well, there's a problem with that. You're not doing hard workouts that you need to do to stay in condition leading up to Friday when you try it again, or Saturday. Unfortunately, this is a 5-week process, which means you have to have some sort of regular conditioning pattern in addition to the open workouts to maintain, if not improve, your cardiovascular ability, your power output during the time of the open. So if you're sore during your workouts Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and you're finally able to hit it hard on Thursday night or Friday, that just leaves you that time to do the next open workout. So follow along. We're going to show you some tips on how to get rid of the soreness in your calves, and hopefully you'll use this so come the rest of this week leading up to the next workout, 18.4, you're ready and you're conditioned to handle it. First recommendation I'm going to have is that you warm up the calves somehow. Non-impact, not running or jumping. You want to use an air assault bike or just simply doing some calf raises like I'm doing in here. If these are too easy, do one leg at a time. If that's too easy, then add a kettlebell to hold on to add some weight. Remember, non-impact is key here. We're trying to get the tendon to recover well. Next, I'm going to recommend some sort of static stretching of the calf. Here I'm using a slam ball. If you have access to a step, that would be even better. If you don't have access to a step, maybe a couple 45 bumper plates stacked on top of each other would be great. With the legs straight, you're going to hit more of the gastroc. If you bend the knee, you're going to hit more of the soleus, the deeper muscle of the leg, which is probably more affected by this. If this is easy, you can always grab a kettlebell to increase weight to push down. Then using a lacrosse ball, I'm going to recommend you place your calf on top of it, and using your other leg for extra weight, you're going to roll back and forth. Typically the area that's going to hurt most is the musculotendinous junction. Try to find that and give it a little extra time. Next, while in the 90-90 position, you're going to take the lacrosse ball. You're going to plant your elbow against your hip. Now you're going to use the lacrosse ball in the areas that you found that were extra sore while rolling. This will give you a way to concentrate on special areas. You then can dorsiflex or move your ankle with your other hand to get a better stretch. This is a great stretch dynamically. Using a exercise band, dorsiflex your foot to the point of its maximum amount. Lock it in on top of your knee and then try to extend your knee going up. You should feel a nice stretch in your calf. You're going to go from solely a stretch when it's slightly almost extended to when it's fully extended, if you could achieve that, to getting the gastroc. We have some bonus material. If you suffer from shin splints or what is often called medial tibial stress syndrome, the next series of pin and stretch moves on the inside portion of the shin are perfect for you. So if you touch that bone on the inside and it's tender from doing all those double unders, or if it just hurts normally with running, this is a great soft tissue maneuver to do to soften it up and take away some of that discomfort you might have. Enjoy. First, identify where the shin bone is. You're going to run your fingers across it. Then you're going to take your thumb, pushing downward, just inside the shin. Then you're going to dorsiflex your foot. This is going to create some indirect pressure to the tibialis posterior. You're not going to be able to get it directly, but that indirect pressure should help a lot. Then, pushing upward towards your knee with your other thumb, you're going to dorsiflex your foot too. You could play with the ankle and the way you move the ankle to try to get some of that medial soft tissue to loosen up a bit. In this case, I'm everting. That works really well if you have shin splints or medial tibial stress syndrome, and really well is everting while dorsiflexing. Give it a try.